Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is the foxiest meeple herself,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for the Fox Experiment. Now if you're interested in our opinions, check out our other video, Rolling with Reviews, the Fox Experiment. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. In the Fox Experiment, you'll breed your own domesticated foxes. Each round, players draft a pair of fox parents. Parents provide trait dice, and using those trait dice, you'll mark combined traits on pup cards. Those pup cards become the next round's parents. Play continues for 5 rounds, with the traits of the pups improving each round. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. All right, Will, so how does the game change for 2 players?
Okay, for 2 players, you start by setting up the game as if you were playing for 4 players. Then you will have a bot, and he will need, or she will need 2 decks. One is a study deck, and the other one is sort of a activation deck.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
You will need 5 foxes of a different color and a gear
of that color.
And they will go and be filtered into all the actions. Essentially what you have is an AI that will take its turn, and it will be like 2 players wrapped up together.
Yes.
And they're not actually trying to win anything.
No, but it is trying to simulate a 4-player game with 2 people.
Right.
But like you said, you're only competing still against the other person, but the bot's going to mess things up.
Yes, so you have twice the Nanoman in the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so issues of the 2-player count.
The AI.
It sucks. I'm sorry. There's a reason why I don't like bots in a lot of games for 2 players, is that they're trying to force the game to feel like a certain player count. And my thing is, make it a good 2-player game. If you're really going to do a variant, make it fun and engaging at 2 players. Don't try to make the experience exactly the same as another player count.
Yeah, a big problem is all the actions that the AI takes as a level of bookkeeping that exacerbates how much bookkeeping is already in the game.
Yeah.
So it feels very, very much like a lot of busy work.
It feels like a tedious chore,
yeah.
Which saps the fun out of the game to just try to keep track of, okay, I did my action. Okay, Will did his action. Okay, now what does the AI do again? Which phase are we in? Wait, does the AI does this, then that? So that leads to another problem at the 2-player count. There is no turn order summary specific to the 2-player.
Which there really needs to be.
Yes, because it's already complex on how you do what you do in what order, and there's nothing that is a short summary that tells you where the AI acts within each of these phases between different actions in each phase.
Yeah, and to add to that, there are certain things that feel like they're delayed abilities or things that you could do at this point, but they really want you to wait until like 2 steps later.
Right.
In order for all the steps, and yeah, I can see
why,
that's clear description, but it would just have been easier if they just kind of squished a few things together to make the playing flow a little bit better.
Right.
And the AI, just like Sarah said, adds to that complexity.
And so the other problem with this bot is, so the nice thing is since it's trying to simulate 4 players, and if there were actually 4 players playing each round, you'd have better parents out in the row because everyone's making pups and each pup gets better than the previous pup. So the AI adds dice on top of cards that are there, which theoretically is great, except what tells you which dice go on there is their
study
card, but the study card doesn't change until one of the 2 players finishes their own study card,
which doesn't really start happening
till the 3rd round,
halfway through the game.
So the first 3 rounds the AI is adding the exact same type of dice to the exact same pups, which after a certain point it can't add more dice, so it's not actually making anything better, and it's skewing everything towards these 2 colors of dice. So it's not even balanced that way either. So this is one more level of why this AI doesn't work. I guess, though, the good news is that's all it's doing wrong. It's doing everything wrong.
Yeah, the problem is you have to play with the AI at a two-player count.
So what it does well at the 2-player count, unfortunately, is absolutely nothing. Moving on to accessibility.
Accessibility.
Right. So as we discussed in the 2-player section, accessibility, there's a lot of bookkeeping. There's just a lot of phases. Things don't seem to always happen in the order that feel logical. So you might start on a card, but you don't resolve that whole card until a later phase. And so it's just keeping track of all that is difficult. The player area can also get very messy. Just there's a lot of things.
Yeah, you're accumulating stars, you're accumulating friendly tokens, you're accumulating study cards that you need to track with your little fox tokens. You're accumulating trait tokens in different colors, and you're using some of those tokens that then get put on a board that's in front of you. You have your deck of pup cards, and you still need some space to pull them out and write and have the friendly dice available. It does get really messy.
Right. Yeah. It's, like I said, it was hard to keep track of the phases and resolution of certain actions. It just doesn't feel quite as streamlined as maybe it potentially could. The base player color pieces may also not be the most colorblind friendly. Now, we are working with the Kickstarter version, which just comes with the plastic pieces, but the color of the plastic pieces are the same color as what it's going to be in the wooden pieces for the retail edition. It's just the good news about the plastic pieces is that they have pictures of foxes, and each player color does have a different type of fox, but then you have 3 different types of foxes per player color, so it just can get a little confusing. But there is the 5 to 6 player expansion that does have black and white pieces, so at least
high contrast.
High contrast. So at least going off of straight color, if you like the game, even if you may not be playing it with higher player counts, for colorblind accessibility, I hate to say it, you should probably get the 5 to 6 player. I wish they had just included black and white in the base game, but it is what it is. That's probably the best way to go about it. Will, would you like to talk about the theme?
Yeah. So eugenics can be a very dicey subject because it's a lot like mad science. We do this all the time with dog and cat breeds and raising cattle. Whenever we domesticate an animal, we find traits that we like and breed for it. However, if you think too much about it, something that's a little bit more wild in nature, like a fox, can sound like very twisted science.
Yeah.
And that type of thematic can really throw someone off and just ruin it for them.
This is based on a true story that they actually did fox experimentation in the 50s?
I don't know when.
I can't remember. I'm sorry to say, I forgot to look exactly at it. So this, of course, the whole based on history, there are a lot of games based on history that are not palatable situations.
Yes.
So this is just probably another one that could be a turnoff to some people.
Right.
So that is an accessibility issue. And then lastly, the Kickstarter version comes with a few promo cards. They were not explained, and so the iconography was just a little head scratching for a bit until we just kind of figured it out. Unfortunately for us, it's so new, I didn't find the answers on Board Game Geek.
Yeah, but if you do, I would recommend going there, asking your question to get your answers.
Yep. All right, let's move on to what it does well. The icons on the dice are unique. So the color of the dice doesn't, I mean, it's double coated in this essence, which is, it's mechanically driven, but it's always good to see because we always hope that more people would do this. But with the way they did the traits, they did the shape, and so each trait is associated with a different shape, a circle. There's, God, I'm forgetting all of them. Anyways, they're there.
Okay.
And then the actual artistic icon are on the tokens within their shape. They are unique, although the overall shape of the trait tokens are all round. So
a square something or other is on the round piece.
Yes.
Or maybe a triangular something or other.
So I think it's only going to be for those with severe vision issues like Will, who he can't see the icons. So having all the trait tokens be round, he has to be very careful keeping them sorted.
Right.
But the stars are stars and the
friendly
tokens are squares. So it's pretty good. And the pup cards, thankfully, are really big. And so they're very easy to write on. That's one thing I always gets me with roll and write is a lot of them have very small sheets or something very small for you to write on.
Yeah.
And thankfully, these were very large. And lastly, this is an open information game. So
you don't need to keep anything secret.
Yep, that's everything.
All right, for 2 players, would you recommend?
No, not at all. Not as written.
No, not. Yeah, the AI really drags the experience down. It's failing to make a good 4-player experience at a 2-player count.
Correct.
Accessibility.
I think mostly yes. I think keeping the phases straight and the bookkeeping might be overwhelming to some people. And I think the colorblind, I don't think is going to be too much of an issue. If someone just has colorblind issues, there's some of the player pieces may be bad, but that's again, get the 5 to 6 player expansion.
Right. Yeah, minimal things with accessibility.
Yeah.
Save the organization comprehension with the AI. Again, the AI is just there and it's just not fun.
Agreed.
All right. So, speaking of 2-player games, we had some ideas on how to simplify it, and we actually tried it out.
Yes. So for one of our games, we realized the key part that the AI does to make the game better for 2 players is adding dice. The competition for the turn order was not interesting at all. And what else did it do?
Well, just trying to follow the rules.
Yeah, just trying to follow all its rules.
It would point an arrow like to the right. So what does that mean? Well, you have to start from the left and go to the first thing to the right that it qualifies for.
Oh, that arrow nonsense just made me confused.
Yeah.
So
we simplified it.
Yes, so we simplified it.
We took one of the decks out.
Yep.
We said, okay, we're just going to play with the study deck.
Yep.
And when it's time for you to take a mother or father, you will then put a token of a different color from the AI on one of the other foxes. That fox can't be taken, and it's the one that's going to receive the dice from the AI study card.
Right, and so it gives each player agency over what gets blocked and what gets improved for the next round. And so if I'm taking a mother, I'm going to take which mother I want, and then I'm going to put a token on another mother, so I'm not also then blocking Will from one of the dads.
Yeah, and the other change we did is for the turn order, we just went up to the 1 to 3 player.
Yes.
So normally there are 4 supply tokens out. There's 5 spots. There's the 1 spot you can take, and you're just going to be first player. Then there's 2 spots with 1 supply token, and the 2 spots with 1 supply token, and you get a friendly token.
Right.
We just went down to 1 to 3 player, which is just 3 of those tokens. So we found that was just enough choice and enough give and take without it being way too big.
Right.
And still being a meaningful choice without having to throw in an AI in the mix.
Yeah, because we found by having just 1 opportunity to get that extra friendly token, that did make a difference in a couple of choices that we both made at different times of, okay, do I really want that spot more than maybe a dad or a mom or whatever? And there were points where that was a decision to be made. But having that AI in there too did not make that interesting at all.
Yeah, the other changes we made were more small things of, let's just squish some of these steps together and make the flow a little bit easier. Right. And we did find that we had a better experience.
Right.
A better experience at 2 players.
So to just kind of round it all out, At the end of each round, there'd be 2 mothers with a token on it and 2 fathers with tokens on it, and they would get the dice from the current study card.
If they can hold them.
If they can hold them.
Because you still follow the rules
Right.
of each player can, or each fox can only have
2 of each color.
Each color. So at max, a fox can have as much as 8 dice.
2 of each. But the key thing there is to make it rotate. We would actually, at the end of the round, change the study card so that it would be new colors.
No, we still
No, we
follow
still
the whole.
follow that
Yeah,
one?
we still follow
you sure?
because we could actually choose which
That's
fox got
right.
it. It wasn't necessary to always change
change
the
it.
study card. The study card would still change when one of us completed.
That's right.
In a round, a study card.
Right, but it was just much more engaging to have that player agency of which mother would I want option of next turn, or which one do I not want Will to be able to take this turn.
Yeah.
And that made a much more engaging 2-player experience than trying to just recreate a basic 4-player game.
And simpler.
And simpler, much more simpler.
Yes.
And that's it.
All right. And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be
Rolling with 2?
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2, that's TWO. We're on Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Discord, we have a channel on Tabletop Express. Check the show notes for the invite link.
If you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.